Hello and welcome to this fourth episode of Random Chess Puzzles, which more accurately simulate a real game if you don't know exactly what the tactics are. So let's take a look here. The rook has just attacked our queen, and when solving puzzles, the first thing you want to do is look at possible attacks on the king to see if there's a checkmate possibility. Which I don't see any checks other than, sacrificing our queen here, which the rook or the king could capture. So let's see. And, if we sacrificed our queen here, and then tried to check here, it looks like the king could escape. And at any time, if you need more time to think, go ahead and pause the video. All right. I don't see an exact way to get at the king without him being able to escape. So, if we sacrificed our queen, capturing the rook, the bishop would capture, our rook could move here and check. And maybe this is the way to go because the king would be in check. The only thing he could do is block with the knight. Or no, that wouldn't even work. Hold on. Queen captures rook, bishop captures queen, rook checks the king. So of course the knight can't block. The king would have to run here, and then we pick off the queen. So that looks to be the right way to go here. Let's double check and make sure there's not a better move. Something else to do. When you see a good move, take a second and look for a better one. I don't see anything. And then we have to watch out for a check here. But we can get out of that. All right, here we go. And we don't even have to worry about that check. Now we just pick this queen off, and we're attacking the bishop, and we're just ahead in material here. All right, I'll try and do maybe 10 to 20 of these problems, depending how fast they go. So let me try and move a little bit faster. They're rated 750 to 1250. So these should be good for beginners, good for intermediate players to brush up on their tactics as well. All right, what do we have here? A queen pinning this knight to our king, but it looks like we have a possible attack. So as I said, always look for possible checks first. So the queen could check. Now we don't want to go here. Because the rook could capture our queen, but we can check the king, pushing the king into the corner and then deliver a mate. So hopefully you found check, check, and mate here. All right, on to the next problem. Okay, our queen had just checked the black king, so the king runs. Now we have to see if there is a way to continue this attack. And it appears there is. First I would recommend looking at all checks and try and figure out what check is the best. Of course, we don't want to go here or the queen would capture our queen. But we can use this pawn perhaps. If we go here, the king could just capture this pawn. So use the pawn, check the king, and the king will have to move forward, and the only place he can go is here to f4. So hopefully you found the winning move after the king goes to f4 here. All right. So queen to g6 check. The king is forced to go to f4. Then we check again on h6, skewering the king and queen. the king will be in check and have to move, and then we can pick off the queen. So check, attack, and capture the queen here. All right, I hope you found that skewer tactic. Let's move on here. A pawn was just captured, and it looks like a familiar checkmate again. So hopefully you found this. And as you see this pattern more often, you'll be able to hopefully use it in your own games at some point. So as I always say, when you're trying to solve a puzzle or a tactical problem, look for checks. So we see possible queen check, and once again we don't want to go here or the rook will capture us. So queen to f7. So hopefully you found this, the same type of problem as we had earlier. Then a check, sacrificing the queen, and we deliver mate here. All right, on to the next problem. What was that? A piece was captured, maybe? Okay, what do we have here? What are our possibilities? So, like normal, we want to look for all the checks. It looks like the queen is the only one that can check. And it looks like the only option is to move this queen up here for a check. And then it's possible for white to block. In fact, white is forced to block with the bishop. And then what can we do? Well, use our bishop. But how is the best way to do that? All right. Well, let's take a deeper look at this. Queen to d1 check. Bishop is forced to block on f1. And then, if we go here, bishop to h3, attacking the pinned bishop and preventing the king from escaping, what can be done then? Maybe a block? No, the rook, the queen would be here, and the rook cannot block. That looks to be the answer to the problem there. Although, nope, I think that works. So here we go. Check. Then we go here. And then, oh, this little tricky move by the rook. So this just delays the inevitable. We have to capture there, and then we can go and capture this bishop for mate. All right, I hope you found that one. Let's move on. Problem number 6 here. Queen to g4, attacking our knight. All right, what can we do here? The queen is protecting the knight. And once again, it looks like that familiar checkmate problem that we saw before. So hopefully you found the answer to this one a little bit quicker this time, as we saw this type of problem twice already in this video. So look for those checks. Now, of course, the knight could check, but the rook would just capture. So better would be a queen check, but where to go with that queen? Now, you don't want to go here or the rook will capture you. So the theme once again, check, driving the king into the corner, then sacrificing the queen and following up with a rook mate. Okay, next problem. The queen is just captured here on g5. What can we do? Okay, this one looks fairly simple. Hopefully you found this one. Once again, look for those checks by the queen. Now, there is more than one check here. You don't want to go here, or the king could just capture. So look for the better check here on g7. So a mate in 1, rated 890. All right, on to the next one. What was that? Was that a capture of a pawn there? attacking our queen. So what do we do here? I don't see any checks that we can give to the opponent's king. So it looks like we're going to have to target pieces here. Now, our queen is under attack. We could just capture their queen. They'll capture ours. But then instead of recapturing their knight, there's an in-between move here. Rook captures their rook with check, and then we can capture the knight. So an important tactic, in-between moves, where there's a common series of moves and then a surprise move in between. So capture, capture with check, forcing the king to deal with that, and then we go ahead and material. So now we have an extra knight. All right, on to the next problem. So bishop is attacking our queen here. We could block, but let's take a closer look at this. Perhaps this is another one of those problems where both the queens can come under attack, and then we can get some advantage out of this. So let's see here. If we capture their knight attacking their queen, then their bishop is unprotected. So if they take our queen, we take theirs, and we're just up by a knight here. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we just come out ahead in material there, an extra knight. All right, on to the next problem. So bishop to c5, pinning our knight to the queen, which looks dangerous as now we have the queen and the bishop piling up on this pinned knight. What do we have in this position? Do we continue this theme of attacking the queen while our queen is under attack? Does that even work? So if we go here, forking the queen and the rook, then what? Does that even work? Well, we're also forking the, in that fork of the queen and the rook, the bishop is also under attack. Now, if the bishop captures our queen and we capture their queen, or we go the other way. We take a bishop and attack the queen. Maybe that is the way to go. Let's take a look here. If we capture the bishop, we're ahead of bishop. So if they capture us, we capture them. All right, I think maybe that will work. All right, now well, we're forced to capture here. So go ahead and do that. And then once they recapture, we'll be ahead of bishop. So we're just ahead in material. So those are tricky counter-attacking trades like that. That was rated 1060, but that could be pretty tricky in your normal games. All right, on to the next problem. Maybe we can get 15 or 20 problems in today. So rook to d1 attacking here. What do we do? Okay, this looks like a fairly simple tactic here. Hopefully you can find this. Now, the first thing to do is look for checks. If you're trying to look for tactics, solve tactics problems, look at the king first always. Any attacks on the king is more important than anything else. So king attacks, then piece attacks, and then pawn attacks. So, we could just capture here, and then the king would recapture. But let's look for another check that's even better. So hopefully you found this one. Rook on h to e8 here, checking the king. We don't want to check with this move because then this rook is no longer under attack. So we check with the other rook, driving the king away, and then we can pick this off here. And it could end up with a mate, it looks like. So let's see. Rook checks. The only thing he can do is block with the bishop, and then we just capture, and he's still in check. And he'll have to go here, and then we can checkmate. So check, block, and mate. So I hope you found that one, a mate in 3+ there. Was it 3 moves? Anyway. 1050 rated, and on to number 12 here. A pawn is just pushed forward. Okay, it doesn't look like there's too much going on here. Just pawns and the knights. So the obvious thing here looks to be these pawns confronting each other. Now we have this passed pawn. It would take 1, 2, 3, 4 moves to promote this passed pawn. Now could this knight stop that pawn? 1, 2. So we would be here 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3. And I don't think that knight could reach the square here to stop it. So 1, 2, or 1, 2. No, you wouldn't want to go there. So knight to f4, to e6. And then I don't think he could stop it here, and we would make it to the other side. But we have to watch out for this. If we go here and this pawn pushes forward, looks like we would queen first with a check. So that's important. If they go 1, 2, 3, 4, then what? We queen with a check, and then we can come down here and stop the pawn. So let's march this forward. Oh, now we don't have that possible check, but we can just keep marching and promote our queen. So let's just keep going. And do we let the knight go? Probably. We'll just let that knight go and just promote to a queen. And that queen will be strong enough to stop any pawn activity. All right. I hope you found that. So remember, passed pawns can be a very important tactical device to use in your games. If you get a passed pawn and it starts running and threatening a promotion, that can turn the tide of a game. All right, what did we have here? A capture, and now this rook is pinning that bishop to the king. So what can we do? Well, I'm going to say that, well, first of all, look for checks. Now, we could just capture here. King captures. Capture with our rook. the king captures. Then we could maybe check again. But I don't know. See, the queen is covering here. So maybe we bring our queen up here to help. If we just go here, we have the, well, yeah, we can't go here. The queen would capture us. So we would have to go here to h6, threaten a capture. The queen could come in to protect. Then we could capture. Queen captures. We check again. But the only problem is this rook could block here. So that might save our opponent's king. All right. Well. Oh, maybe this works, this pawn. Now, if we go there immediately, we just have this right here. So maybe we bring the queen up here first, threatening this mate. And, you know, the queen can't go here, or we just pick that queen off. So the queen would have to go here, and then now we can bring this pawn up here and put more pressure on this. All right, I think that works. So queen to h6, queen to f8, pawn moves up to f6 to put more pressure on the pinned bishop, and that should give us the advantage here. All right, so immediately they just give up this rook. And so it was less complicated than it had to be. Okay, so now the same thing. Queen could go here, but then this pawn marches up here. All right. Well, here we go. On to the next problem. So we just had a capture here. Our opponent is ahead in material, so we have to act forcefully here. Okay. Well, look for those checks as always, and it looks like that will lead you in the right direction anyway, and hopefully you find the answer. So I believe, you know, the only check we have at the moment is this. So we check. The king is forced to move here, but then we can checkmate with our queen. So check and mate here. Interesting little checkmate. All right, on to the next problem. The king has just moved here, attacking the rook, but the rook is protected, of course. So what can we do here? What can we do? All right. This pawn, you know, we could try and fork here. Or not fork, but skewer. You know, attacking, but this pawn could just pick off the rook with check. So that doesn't look to be any good. This looks pretty dangerous. What if, you know, do we sacrifice the rook? The king could just capture, and then it just looks like a losing endgame. So, you know, what can white do here? Oh, okay. The pawns are going in the other direction. So what am I thinking? Yes, of course, you want to skewer here. And then it'll be a pawn race. So let's check that. I was thinking the pawn was going in this direction. But white is going in this direction. This pawn is trying to go here. So we can skewer the king and queen. The king will have to move and protect the queen. Then we capture. King captures. And then it becomes a pawn race. So rook to f6 check. King moves here or here to protect the queen, and we pick off the queen, and the king recaptures on f3. Okay, then it's our turn, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 moves with a check that will make a difference. Okay, so here we go. And this check, this promotion with check will make a difference. So, of course, our opponent moves here. Now, would it have been better to go here maybe, to move down? Oh no, because this could be pinned. Anyway, we promote and we'll be winning here. So, if the king goes here, it might take a while. We chase this king around a little bit and try and get our king in here, to where we can pick off this pawn. All right. Here we go. Knight has just moved to h4. We could capture, checking. The bishop would recapture. Then our queen would capture with check. The king would be forced to move here. And then what? We check again. All right, so a little bit tricky here. Let's see if all of this works. Our queen is under attack too by this rook, but I don't think that matters because we'll get a check in first. I think we have to attack with the rook. Check. Then what? It could be tricky here because, well, no, if we go here, capture, if the king just runs and we just start checking, maybe check here, check here. So anyway, let's do this. So yeah, this we just win because the king is forced out into the open to here, and then we check again, and the king is trapped there because of this bishop cutting off escape squares along with the queen. All right, 4 more problems. Let's finish this out. The knight has just moved, and that is not good news for white. It has opened up the H file to where we can attack. And this is the recurring theme of using the queen and rook that we saw in a few other problems earlier in this video. So now we notice if we go here, the knight can just capture the queen. So you don't want to do that. But what if you go here to h2 and check first, driving the king over to f1, and then you sacrifice the queen, the knight would capture, and the rook would check, and then this rook would prevent our king from, well, white's king from escaping. So here we go. Rook checks and mate because this is cut off. All right. What do we have? 3 more problems here. What was this? A capture? Okay, it looks like we have a discovered check possible, but where is best to go with this discovered check? All right, let's take a look at this. Now, if we just move the knight over to the side, our opponent can block. But if you have the chance to perform a double discovered check where we move the knight up to here or here, checking, and the queen checks at the same time. Whenever the king is in a double check position, the only thing the king can do is move, because there's no time to block or capture both pieces. So the only option is for the king to move. Now, if we go here to d3, the king can move here. But if we go here, knight to f3, that cuts off any escape for the king and should mate. So hopefully you found that. So there you go. The queen attacks, the knight attacks at the same time. And because two pieces are checking, the only thing the king could try and do is run. But this knight cuts off the escape square here on d2. All right, two more problems and we'll finish this video up. Bishop to a6 here, attacking. So first things first, do we have any checks against our opponent's king? Well, I see one. The bishop could sacrifice itself here, capturing the pawn with check, but this knight could just recapture, and then I don't really see anything after that. So perhaps we need to attack the queen. All right, I think that would work. So this looks like an interesting little tactic. We just move up here, knight to c5, forking the queen and the bishop. So, if the bishop moves here, well, it can't because the knight would just capture it. The queen would be forced to move away. If it tries to protect the bishop, well, then we can just pick that bishop off with the knight, perhaps, because, well, you'll see here. Check, capture the queen, and then we can just pick that queen off here. Oh, and then we have this little check. So we have to do something about that. Where do we go? Here. And we're just ahead in material. Now they'll pick off this, which would be better than taking the rook because we could recapture. So they'll pick off the knight. And I believe we'd be ahead in material here. You'd have to count it up. All right, on to the final 20th problem here. Okay, king has just moved forward. And we have, well, a passed pawn. Apparently the king is trying to stop that passed pawn. All right, what can we do here? Well, look for those checks. So, perhaps our opponent should have tried to check us, maybe with this pawn attack here. Or, well, if the rook tried to check or the queen, our king could maybe escape here. Ooh. Well, that would be rough because then the queen could capture over here. No, because our queen is protecting. All right, anyway, it's our turn to attack. So, queen to g7. Attacking this king, what does that do? Well, it forces the king to either go here, and then we could mate. So you'd probably go here, and then that mates as well. So check and mate. So hopefully you found that. All right. Well, feel free to leave any comments and let me know what you think. Also, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for watching. Have a super chess day.